So, Forest are officially on the beach, officially safe. It's done and dusted. So, to all those negative Nancy's out there saying, oh, relegation this, relegation that, it's done. Slump your shoulders out, let the belt off, let the beer go out, whatever you need to do, because we're safe. Thanks for watching. But we got plenty to talk about. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure to check out OK Jerseys. You can get your shirts 15 quid. Use code FFTV for 8% off. All right, I've had a request in for I Want to Go First.
By the way, he's the only one who ever does that.
I know. Can anyone guess who it was in the chat?
Go first.
Yeah, well, otherwise, you'll all just start anyway. So
no, we'll just decide on the day. We go with the flow, bro. Where you go?
So who was it? Was it you, Ben? No. Was it you, Ez? No.
Oh,
it could be Ant. It could be Rob.
Wasn't me.
Ant doesn't ask for permission. Come on.
No, it's a one-man cartel. It's a one-man cartel. Go ahead, Rob.
Go on then, Rob. Kick us off.
Well, first, I want to start with a question for Ez and Ant. What was your view of the 88th minute goal scored by Elliot Anderson? What did you think when you were in the ground and you saw that goal go in?
We thought Trent Bridge was buzzing when he heard it.
Tell you what, he can't wait. He can't wait to try and get one up, can he?
Well,
yeah, where was you when John McGovern was lifting the European Cup in 1979? Right. Where was you when John McGovern was there? So shall I go on?
Did you leave early for that one as well? 84 minutes they lasted. Anyway, ye of little faith.
Listen, I've got a long way to go. I have to drive a long way to get home now.
I was breaking all records, man.
Well, actually, to be fair to Ez, he went and bought a Twix at half time and me and Ant shared it. But we made the usual jokes about, see you then. But anyway, he did
Rob, you can't really comment. You've missed more goals this year going on holidays with different women than any of us.
Well, hang on. Going on holidays with women is your special subject, isn't it?
No, anyway, going on holiday for women, not with women.
Right, okay. Now, well, all I wanted to do to go first is to actually just to do something we don't do very often, which is to give thanks and appreciation to the players and the manager, because I don't think I can remember a time when we've had to play 4 games in 10 days. Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Sunday. It's absurd. And no wonder half of the first team are injured. It's been really difficult balancing the demands of the Europa League. It's 16 extra games on top of this league campaign. But, I mean, I know Ant disagrees, but when you look at Newcastle yesterday, you look at their bench, I think they had about 6 or 7 players that I would have started, and they're on their bench, right? And we can have that debate later.
Okay. We'll get to him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, Barnes, Elanga, Gordon, Whistler, these are all people that we were...
Don't want them. Whistler shit, Elanga shit.
Right,
what are you talking about, Rob?
But hang on, back to the players. After the disappointment of Thursday night, I really didn't want to be facing Newcastle because Chris Wood's hat-trick aside, our record against Newcastle in the top division, it was lost 6, won 1. Just not who you want to be seeing at this crucial time. But at the same time, I was thinking, we have to get the business done today. I don't want it going down to the final day. We're needing something from Bournemouth. We have to get the business done today. And obviously with West Ham playing afterwards, I'm thinking, if we can just get a draw from this game, West Ham would have to win all 3 games, including Arsenal, which is just not happening. So I'm really grateful that they managed to grind that out. I mean, for a lot of the game, Newcastle did look like they had the edge, like they were a stronger, fresher team. Sells had a lot to do. Backwell looked good in the first half. Morato did Morato things. We can come on to that. Morato was back to his best. But overall, I just want to say thank you, because that run now, that unbeaten run in the league, is still 1-4, drawn 4, lost 0. And let's hope we can keep it going to the end of the season. So that was pretty much it. I mean, I wish we could just float around mid-table, but, you know, I think this season's brought it home to us that we had 23 years outside of the top division, and all sorts of investment wasn't there, you know, and it's just a battle every year to stay up. Now, people are going to misquote me on this and say, oh, Rob's happy to come 17th every year. That's not the case. But, I mean, it's still an achievement, because relegation would have been a catastrophe. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
If I offered you 17th next year right now, Rob, would you take it?
No, I want better. I want better. Because I would like to not have to spend all season worrying, looking at the table every 5 minutes.
If I offered you 16th this season in August, would you have taken it?
We're into silly bargaining and counterfactuals. And would you prefer the
You're
Europa
the one who
League
brought
and the
23
Championship?
years up, man.
Rob, can I just come back to you on one thing? You said you want to be hovering around the mid-table. You do realise that if we win our next 2 matches, we'll be 9th and only 4 points off Europa.
That would be fantastic.
That's impossible. Forest can't get top 10.
That would be fantastic. But anyway, well done. Well
Chelsea,
done.
Chelsea are 6 points ahead on 49 points.
How many points are we
43. So we could get 2 wins. We'd have to get a lot of goals,
every team above us would need to lose by not playing each other as well, yeah?
I'm not saying it's realistic. I'm just making a point.
No, it's mathematically impossible.
No, I think the point is that we could still finish mid-table. I think that, forget the Europe bit, Crypto, we could still finish mid-table.
But we'd be on if we got 6 points, we'd be on 49 points, the same as Chelsea.
Okay,
Chelsea in 9th.
So you know that these teams have to play other teams that are in the same division, yeah?
Sure.
And you know that during that game, someone scores at least 1 point.
But are Chelsea playing Everton? Because if they're not, then we could literally catch them.
Chelsea are playing Spurs.
They got Spurs, yeah.
Okay, well, Spurs won. That's no points for Chelsea. Who's Chelsea's last game?
Hold on. You know, there's other teams between us and Chelsea as well.
Yeah, I know, but they could all lose.
So you
Come on, guys. Let's go. This is time. Right.
Anyway, we'd be around mid-table.
I mean, I'd like to thank Rob for his speech on behalf of the Nancy Boy Soft Lad Party. His standards are way lower than mine. Way lower than mine. However, having said that, there are some things he said that I can agree with. One is that, well, he kind of said it in a way, in a roundabout way. I did think the lads put effort in yesterday. I didn't think they were brilliant, but I think they did put effort in. It did feel like very much like an end of the season doesn't mean a lot kind of game. It did feel that, although it kind of wasn't, you know, but it felt that way. Before the match, I sat next to Rob, by the way, and fucking hell. Anyway, before the match, I said, "Look, I like Bakwa. I think he's promising." So it was quite funny because I said, "Give him a point every time he does something well, and then take a point off." So let's just focus on him for a bit. And within about 5 seconds, it was okay. That's one then. All right, that's one then. All right, 2, 3, and by the end of the half, I think it was quite warming to him. I thought he had a really good first half. He did fade in the second half, but I did point out that nobody passed him the ball. You know, he was out on that right wing and the ball never came to him. So that there is that. But I didn't mind the change. I never mind it when Hutchinson comes on because I think he's a fine player and a dangerous player. I also had a little word with him about McAtee. And sadly, I wasn't actually standing next to him when he provided the assist for the goal. That was a bit of a shame. Otherwise, I could have gone 2 for 2 there. But yeah, what more can you say? I thought I'm really pleased that Anderson got his goal. It looked a really good goal, by the way, when I watched it later. It looked a superb goal. I don't know whether that cramp was diplomatic cramp, to be honest.
To avoid celebrating.
I thought his leg had fallen off, man. I was like, what's going on here?
It just seemed a bit coincidental that he scores a fabulous goal and then he can't celebrate it because his legs are hurting.
He did kind of celebrate it, though. He did kind of celebrate it.
He did.
You know, little.
Listen, he's always going to have. I believe he will go, unfortunately, in the summer, as long as we get decent money for him, with something we'll have to take. But I do believe he'll always have a soft spot for Forest because we really are the ones that gave him his chance. He was nowhere near that England team, definitely not going to the World Cup when he was at Newcastle. You know what I mean? He couldn't get a game. So I think he'll always have that fondness for us. So yeah, I would imagine that he would be keen to celebrate. What else is there to say? I thought Nets played well again.
Mm-hmm.
Morato is not our future, but we know that. We don't need to really talk about that. Anybody else that particularly struck out? Jesus wasn't, his second half, he wasn't great. Taiwo looked good again when he came on. I'm leaning more and more to the...
He's tired.
Yeah, I know, but Taiwo challenged for the ball a lot more effectively than either would.
No, I'm just saying he said when he came on, unless you're talking about at 2:00.
He started,
yeah.
He really must have had an impact on the game.
It's because I'm that used to seeing him come on. Of course he started, and I think he played really well. I do apologise for that. It's a little brain fart there. Yeah, so I think he's earning himself a stay, to be honest. I think as a third choice striker, I think he's up there. I don't think for the amount of money we'll get for him and for the amount of money we'd have to replace him with, I don't think it's worthwhile. We know what Taiwo is. We know what he can do when he's fit, when he's well. He can contribute. And I'll tell you what, his challenging for the ball and his shielding the ball and laying it off is a lot better than the others. A lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was glad to see Luca come on again. I hope we pay £35 million for him.
He's not worth 35,000, Dan.
No. I actually know we've actually told him to F off that. We're not having him. I mean, that's no surprise. Body is it, surely? I mean, if Dyche was here, maybe, but yeah. Pereira, no comment really. I think he did okay. And we got a point, and a point was enough. And the weather was all right.
Yeah. I haven't even got that much more to say about the actual game, to be honest, because I think me and Ant did our best to try and not even get to the game on time.
On mute?
No, we heard you.
Oh, it's just me then. It's just me that can't hear that.
Okay.
You're on mute that whole time, Ant. We didn't hear a single.
we were just nodding our heads along.
Whatever.
Yeah, not much more to say on the game. I mean, I was sat next to Rob as well. And I gotta say, he doesn't shut up. He doesn't freaking shut up throughout the whole game. Yeah, every foul is a yellow card. Every decision is.
That referee was awful.
I was just about to say that was one comment I will make, but you guys hadn't made. Was the referee was absolutely awful. He did ruin the game. His linesmen were just as bad. They don't help each other out. It was awful to watch. But it did feel like two teams that didn't have anything to play for at the end of the season, and that they had the better chances. Don't get me wrong. Sells again was fantastic. If it wasn't for Sells being on it, they could have scored 3 or 4 goals quite easily. There were some really gilt-edged chances that they've missed. But yeah, me and Ant didn't get to see the goal, but I've got to say, it didn't look like it was going to peter. It did look like it was going to peter out to a 1-0, and fair play to the lads for getting back into it. But he was the best player on the pitch, Anderson, yesterday, most consistent. I'll agree with Ant. Nets stood out for me as well. There were spells in the first half where Bakwa was taking his man on and was making a difference. What disappoints me a little bit was a substitution. I would have rather have seen actually Taiwo and Wood together. Because in the end, he ended up playing Wood and Luca up front together. And we didn't even play one ball into the box when we had the 2 biggest men on the pitch. So that made no sense whatsoever. But Taiwo, I think he's done well. I think the chances he's been given this season, he's done well. He's scored goals. He's made himself a nuisance. He wouldn't be the first one out the door for me. Let's just say that in the summer. There's other players that I'd be looking to move on before we move him on. But before, I'd rather Ben came in with his reflection before I talk about, because it's more about reflecting on. I know it's not the end of the season yet. We kind of know where we are now, and we've got to reflect on it. And we'll do that, I guess, a little bit further on in the show. But Ben, jump in if you got anything to say, man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the actual result against Liverpool was fine. I think a draw against Liverpool, a draw against Newcastle. It's because someone just said Liverpool in the chat. They've thrown me completely. A draw against Newcastle is a decent result. They normally beat us. So the actual result, I think, was fine. I'm glad Anderson got his goal. I think he deserved that. The way he ran through and broke their line was really good as well. But the actual game itself, I thought was effectively a pile of crap. I thought it was boring as hell. Probably one of the worst Forest matches I've ever seen. So I wasn't too fussed about
the game.
Many. I wasn't too fussed about the game. The one person that did stand out for me, apart from Anderson, as said, was Sells. I think I'm going to have to flip-flop back to saying that Sells is my number one keeper, because the difference between Sells and Ortega. And by the way, Ortega, if you're watching, I will never forgive you for that European semi-final. But the difference between Sells and Ortega is that at least Sells is consistent. He doesn't always pull off the spectacular, but yesterday he was really good. He's been good for a number of seasons now. So I think really Sells has to become my number one keeper again. Taiwo looked decent, although to be honest, Taiwo should have scored that chance. He was through on goal. He should have put it past the keeper, in the same way that their player put their goal past Sells.
Crypto, he couldn't get it onto his shin. He accidentally hit it with his foot.
He accidentally kicked it properly, and therefore missed, obviously. But Taiwo has definitely improved, as have several players under Pereira. So, look, I think the result was good. A draw at home. We're finally safe mathematically. Hopefully Spurs still get relegated, but the actual game itself, I thought was just boring. And if it's anything to go by, I can't imagine the next two games are going to be much better.
Or this podcast.
I've got my Bournemouth ticket. Why have I got my Bournemouth?
I mean, and let's be honest, Bournemouth are going to win 3-2. Obviously, you don't need to go too.
Our last two games, what's the atmosphere going to be like for the last couple of games? But yeah, Rob's got my Bournemouth ticket now, so enjoy.
So can I just ask, when you three sit next to each other, do you all wear the same outfit?
No, I'll never be the same as any of them. You know me. Okay. I'll always be the odd one out.
You're brown, no white.
Exactly.
Martin with the 42 months. Big up to Martin, man. Love Martin, man. Thank you for the 42 months. Big up to this guy, man.
Red Dog.
Big Red Dog with the 44 months. Absolute legend. Oh, crap. What have I done to my mic? And shout out to Ant the Hat with the 999. He goes, nice to be mathematically on the beach. Thanks to all at FFTV. You've worded it so beautifully that it almost sounds like because of us we're on the beach.
Yeah, I thought that.
But I know what you're saying, man. Hope you're doing well as well. Ant. Thank you.
Maybe it is because you got Dyche sacked, didn't you? So it is thanks to FFTV.
You're all welcome. You're all welcome.
And can we just agree, though, that if Dyche wasn't sacked, we would have also won the Europa League?
No, we can't agree on that. No,
we can't. Big up to Emily with the 199. She goes, do you think Cali will come back?
I hope so.
Yes, he will. And I don't think he'll stay.
Can we not bring him back for the last two games to see how he performs?
No, because he's on his loan's 30th of May or something, or June, whatever.
You know what? The difference between in the atmosphere. I mean, obviously, our expectations have risen since we've been promoted. They're no longer the same. Well, but the difference between the atmosphere when we beat Arsenal that time in the first year to secure our status compared with this time it's like, oh yeah, great, we're staying up. Yeah,
but I think people,
it's like the world had come, It's like,
yeah, but I think people are genuinely, apart from Rob, people are genuinely dejected from the Europa League knockout still. I mean, I am.
Yeah, of course. Oh, the atmosphere yesterday would have been totally different had we progressed in the Europa.
Yeah.
Can we not talk about the Europa League?
I'm still.
No, but the only thing I was
Never mention it again.
Listen, let's get some receipts in, because I think me and Wolfie all said we weren't in a relegation battle this year. I think I predicted we'd be 5 or 6 points clear of 17 points team, which I think we will be. I can't see.
I'm not really worrying about next year being in a relegation battle.
As we've got the table. I was the only one who predicted 42. You lot predicted less.
No, this is after the fact. I'm talking about earlier on in the season. I'm going way back. I'm going earlier receipts, boys. I'm not talking about receipts from last 2 weeks. I'm talking about from.
Oh, you're choosing the time you want to revert.
No. I'm telling you what I thought would play out, and I'm glad of it. I'm not saying I've told you so or anything like that. Obviously I'm happy that we've survived and we survived for another season. But the Europa League was what I was clinging on to, because I said even under Dyche we'll stay up in the Premier League, but we weren't progressing Europe. What happened on Thursday night? I'm still sore about that. I'm not going to give up on that. But that was one thing I was clinging to. I did not at any stage think we were going to get relegated this season. So I just want to put that out there. I said that early on, and I haven't been panicking. I just got fed up of watching Dyche ball. And for me, like I said, this is certainly since we've been promoted, it's been the least amount of games that I've been to. I've saved a hell of a lot of money, haven't I? And I'm getting my teeth for next month. So yeah, that's why.
Ez, are you honestly saying that what we've just been through was not a relegation battle?
Yeah.
Okay,
listen, if I was as miserable as you and looking at every single permutation, I would have driven myself mad. I decided to not do that very early on in the season. I said, no, I don't care. Whatever happens, but I'm confident we'll stay up. So I'm not going to panic with all the tribulations that are going to go along the way, like you did every single week, looking at where your second team West Ham were and where we were in comparison, and bringing it through your head what could happen. I didn't put myself through that. I was chilled, relaxed, because I was confident we were going to stay up. I just didn't want to see the shite football we saw under the previous manager. I was revived by the football we saw in the league and in Europe over the last couple of months because of the manager, because of what he instilled in the players. But other than that, I was done with the season, but I was still confident we were staying up. So for me, it wasn't a relegation battle in my mind. It was gonna play out to this. That's what I meant.
This should be a poll, right? Because if you go to any of the neutral football channels, and I've been watching a lot of these videos, like who's going down, they've always featured the same 4 teams, which was us, Leeds, Spurs.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we have. That doesn't mean that we have to agree with that. We can look at our squad that those other people don't watch every week. We do. We can look at our squad, the way we're playing, the way things are, and make an assessment that no, I don't think we will go down. Looking at the other teams that are below us, I think that's perfectly fair, Rob. You can be concerned, of course you can. Nobody's saying you can't be, a little bit,
Wait, what other channel are you talking about? You talking about like Matt FB?
We've just been on
everybody.
No, him.
And
but he put us down. He put us down. Oh yes,
he did.
I watched. There was him, Benjamin Bloom, and the Leeds fan. I can't remember his name. McGilligan. Yeah. The 3 of them. And what they did is they didn't put Forest down outright. What they did is they went through every single game for every single one of those 4 teams. And at the end of it, they were all shocked. Oh, God, we put Forest down.
I bet that was fun.
I shared
my message to Matt then. I congratulated him for promotion.
It had us going down on 38 points. I shared that video in the chat, right? I think we should have a poll. Was that a relegation battle or not? Because I think you're barking.
It depends on your definition.
No, I've just given. Listen, so this is what pisses me off. You don't listen. I gave you my reasons. In my head, it was not a relegation battle because I was calm. We were going to finish where we finished. So you can call it whatever you want. You can call it whatever you want.
Let me ask you this question then, Rob. Were Palace in a relegation battle this season?
There was never really a point where they were near the bottom. I mean, they've kind of dipped now, but no.
So if Palace finished 17th, were they in a relegation battle?
Right. We spent time in the relegation zone.
5 minutes, man.
No. The entire Postecoglou reign, we were in the relegation zone, and that's when I said this is a relegation battle, and you guys were in denial, and you're still in denial because we've just produced 4 wins and 4 draws in the last 8 games, which is title-winning form to get out of that bloody mess. And then you're looking at it thinking, oh, it was never in doubt. You are mental. Ask the chat, was that a relegation battle? I reckon I'll get 90%.
I think you will get 90%, if not more.
You will, because they're all miserable like you, mate. They would like you, because listen, you've been pushing this narrative for the last couple of months. We let you get away with it every single week. What are this team doing? What are that team doing? Oh, if they win, we'll end up here. I didn't get involved in any of that crap, because that was just crap. That was
yesterday. Every time they cross the halfway line, that's it. They're gonna score. They're gonna score.
The funny thing is, I said to Rob before,
they had a free kick in the second half, right? And I was that sick of him being so negative, right? It was that one that was about 20 yards out, 20 25 yards out.
Yeah,
and I said to him, Rob, there's no way they will not. They're going to score from it. They're going to score from it. I said, Rob, they are not going to score from it. There's not a chance they're going to score from this, right? They will not score. What did I offer to do if they did score? I have to do something, and if they score, I'll do that.
I can throw your hat.
Stop. Being negative.
Brinley, have some shame, Brinley. How do I open that podcast every single time?
I shouldn't be here.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just an objective host, bro. But I'm glad you're watching it. I hope you're enjoying it.
What everybody watching has missed is that before we came on air, we know that Rob is Mr. Negative, right? So whenever we win a football match, he's negative. Yesterday, when we play a crap, boring beach match, Rob's like, I'm so positive about yesterday. It was such a good match. You need to, reverse it.
Right, this is turning into a Rob pylon, but I'm going to add to it. Sorry, can I just add to it, and then we'll stop the Rob pylon? Why are you so cheery when either Spurs or West Ham are going down, bro?
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Because you predicted both those teams would stay up.
Yeah,
you did.
How's that work out?
Maybe it was my way of saying that I was genuinely worried that we were going down.
That's what I've just said. That's your problem. That's you. And you've just tried to portray that to everybody else.
Look, let's lay off him a bit. Is that
because we're going to agree with him in the chat and say we're bullying him.
Chat, I am the nice one. It's these that are horrible.
What does the poll say? And I wasn't wrong about that, by the way. West Ham did get 10 points from 6 games. It was just later than what I said.
You're wrong then.
So actually, it works out 10 points from 16 games.
Look, we ain't doing the Bully Rob show tonight, right?
No,
but
you're not succeeding.
You've got to admit you were wrong.
Poll say? What does the poll
79% said we were in a relegation battle.
Oh, I'm disappointed. I thought I'd crush you by more.
You said by 90%.
I'll tell you what, I just had a kind of horrible thought. You know, we've had a pretty shitty, disgusting season where we were involved in a relegation battle, right? Yeah. The last 10 results, if they'd have been last year, we'd have finished. If we'd have had those last 10 results last season, we would have been well in the Champions League.
We'd have won the league.
Yeah, probably won the league. Yeah. So it's kind of weird, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Let's get that into positive.
Off the back of that point, I'd like to put forward that I 100% think that Vítor is the man to take us into next season, because if he'd have been with us for this whole season, we could be.
It doesn't work like that.
Okay. Hindsight. We won't talk about hindsight. If Vítor has the same success he's had since he came in, then we will do very
absolutely.
Well.
Absolutely. You couldn't not have him, but that's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, but some people on this panel may not want him for next
season. I mean, Nuno, for example, had 3/4 of a great season and then absolutely shat the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So after 3/4 of that season, you would have said Nuno's definitely the man. Keep him for the rest of the season. But
yeah, of course it goes in swings and roundabouts. But what I'm saying is, right now, surely Vítor is the man for the job to take us into next season.
I wouldn't be making that decision until the season has literally finished.
Right, okay, I'm glad you.
No, let me qualify what I'm going to say, because we had the discussion last week. whatever happens, Vitor's going to have a very different squad next season. We're not going to, there's some of these key players are not going to be in this squad. So let's not pretend he's going to have exactly the same set of players, same circumstances that he's going to be, that he started the season with. But yeah, go and carry on.
You've just said exactly what Wolfie said on his video earlier. Wolfie said, I don't want to make a decision on Pereira yet. I'll make it at the end of the season. Followed by the sentence, but the next 2 matches are beach matches. So by that says to me that we're going to lose because they're beach matches and the players don't care. And then you're going to judge Pereira on whether he should stay.
I don't think that the next 2 matches should make a difference to whether you want him stay or not. I think you should know. I don't think it matters. Yeah, you should know now. Yeah,
because if the next look, the players aren't going to be psychologically 100% up for the next 2 matches because they are effectively safe, right? I'm sure they'll want to win because they're competitive, but he's not going to play his first team. Like, we don't need to win. There's no pressure. That could work in our favor for sure, but there's no need to win. So I don't think
there's quite a bit of money involved.
What would you learn from Vítor?
There's a number of millions of pounds involved in where you finish in the league.
I know, but the players don't care about that, Ant. The players don't care about that.
No, maybe they don't. Do they care about anything?
Let's stick to the subject. Let's talk about Vítor. What would you guys do? I've got a poll in the chat. I wanna, you know who I'm intrigued by? I mean, as you've already said, you'd wait till the end of the season.
Yeah.
Okay. Technically, we are at the end of the season, but anyway.
No, I'll wait till the last game.
It's like I say, these next two matches shouldn't really make your mind up either way.
No, it's not.
Where is your mind though?
About knowing who's available as well and who Forest are really seriously after.
One sec, Brindley. I'm not saying they don't want to win. I'm saying that they won't have the same pressure on them, and also Pereira's going to field a different team. There won't be
not only that, Crypto, but I'm afraid it's
hold on. Let's not hound Vítor out the same way you went after Cooper. Well, who replaced Cooper, and what did we end up getting? And we didn't hound anyone out. What power do you think?
Yeah, I did. I was around his house. I got dice shout. Sorry, Ant, gone. Yeah, I've got to think what I was saying now. Bear with me.
All right, what are you thinking, Ben? What are you saying on Vítor?
I mean, I'd keep him based on the form since he's come in has been excellent in the Premier League. I thought Europa League was highly disappointing and somewhat unforgivable, but his Premier League has been brilliant. He hasn't lost a game, has he? I think we've drawn.
He lost his first two.
Okay, but that's again, Rob. You're picking. You're making a point based on a time period you want to talk about.
By the way, Crypto, someone's aiming a sniper rifle at your forehead. I don't know if you've realised that. You close the window.
Blind. Look, Pereira, I think. Okay, forget the first 2 games because he doesn't know the squad. He doesn't know the players. Pereira has been brilliant in the Premier League since then. The players like him. Anderson said in his interview yesterday that they're well up with working with Pereira. I can't remember his exact. Well, you should. I can't remember his exact words.
Are they?
Look, we know from previous managers that one of the biggest things to our players is the psychology of the dressing room. And that makes a huge difference.
I agree.
Pereira has done well. He definitely deserves a pre-season. He definitely deserves more time with these players. He deserves to be able to make his own signings in the summer and start next season and see how he gets on. Why would you get rid of somebody who's saved?
Let me give my point of view.
Is that the way you want to play it, Crypto? Give him the pre-season, give him the budget, see how he gets on.
No, because I think he'll do well. I think he'll do what
you've got to have confidence in him or not confidence in him. We'll see how he gets on. Because that means that again, after 3 games, you may be sacking the manager.
No, because I have 110% confidence in him. There's nothing to suggest that we won't do well going into the start of next season.
Okay. Well, what if the same thing happens?
Then I'd keep him on then. Not I'd see how he goes.
I would keep him on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Ben. What happened to him in the summer with Wolves? Yeah. What happened to he did pretty much exactly what he did with Forest. I think he won 10 out of 20 games that he was in charge. Kept him up when they looked dead and buried last season. He kept him up. In the summer, they ripped up that squad. The best players from that squad were taken out, similarly to what I think is going to happen to Forest this summer because we didn't get Europe. Okay, let me finish the question before you jump in. So, how do you expect him to react? The same way, same thing happened. If the same thing happens to him this summer that happened to him last summer, is he still the same man? Is he still the man to take us forward? He could win a game.
That's based on ifs and buts. What happens if this happens? What happens if that happens?
So you think we're not going to lose any of these players in the summer?
We will lose players.
How big players? So exactly, that's my point. So what's he going to do then?
His recent form, Pereira's recent form, has shown us that it doesn't have to be the first squad on the pitch like Chelsea to win games. He's improved players. He has improved and coached players to a better quality than what they were under Dyche.
So your only snapshot of that is that game against the second team playing against a Chelsea team who've lost 6 in a row, who couldn't find the arse from their elbow, and you're going to use that as a snapshot to say that he.
I don't know why you've got such an agenda against Pereira.
No, I haven't got an agenda, but I want you to make sense of what you're saying. I don't want you to just say stuff.
I'm making perfect sense. Pereira's record in the last 8 games or so is exactly what we need to take us into next season. It's that simple. Okay,
but you just missed the whole point I've just made. What if his squad gets ripped out in the summer? Is he still the man to take us forward next year?
You could flip it and say, well, why is a new manager the right man to take us forward? It's the same thing.
So, look,
you're defending Pereira. Let's not jump.
You can't have made a very good point, which is what is the guarantee that history won't repeat itself, which is like Vítor had an amazing run with Wolves. Then over the summer, he lost his 2 or 3 best players. And then he got off to a terrible start and couldn't win for love nor money at Wolves. Now, I would say there are 2 differences in the case of Forest. Firstly, our ownership is way more ambitious than Wolves. And they will not, if there are high-profile departures from the squad, there will also be high-profile signings to replace them, okay? So we won't go into a tailspin like Wolves. And secondly, did Rob Edwards do any better at Wolves? No. The problem was the squad and not Pereira. So I think if I was going to put money on it, I think it's unlikely that history is going to repeat itself and that he's going to get off to a terrible start next season. And I also think that it would be tragic to sack him because you're worried that that might happen. Let's see if it happens first and then react.
Well, Rob Edwards did do better than Pereira.
Yeah, he did. Can I say a few words about this? Listen, if we keep Pereira on, I'm not going to chuck the baby out and bathwater and all. I kind of feel that I'd like to see if he could improve on this season. Not the last 10 games, obviously, but in general. Having said that, I would not be upset if he was to go either. Okay. Because I just don't know. I'm not like you guys. I can't see into the future. I don't know whether he's going to do well next season or not. Now, there's a massive case of who would you bring in. And I do think that that's important. I know Wolfie never cares about who we bring in, but I do. I'm a little surprised that it appears that Iriola's going to Crystal Palace.
That's bollocks.
You think so? Okay, yeah. I would tend to agree it's bollocks more than it's true, but I have read a lot about it.
Yeah, no, but it is true that Palace want him, but Iriola has not said, I want to go to Palace. It's probably true that Palace would like Pep if he leaves Man City. Pep.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I just read it as like he's going, Oh
no, they've been saying, Iriola's #1 on Palace's list. Yeah. Cool. Well, Megan Fox.
Yeah, I would be surprised if you went there, especially as it appears that there are other larger scale clubs than Palace to go to that would take it, Iriola. I think we probably would, actually. So unless we're going to bring in somebody premium, somebody that I approve of, then I'd stick with Pereira without too much concern. I think he's steady. I think he'll be. So I've always said, I think we've all probably always said, but I certainly have always said that Forest, this season, to get us out of the issues, we didn't need a great manager. We just need a manager. Somebody that was just sensible because the squad is so very good. And that, I think you'd agree, has proven to be the case. this squad over the last 10 games has been incredible. So it shows you what we should have been doing. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm trying to say is I don't know how good Pereira is because he was handed a fantastic squad where he only needed to get mediocre results for it to be a success. Yeah. Mediocre results would have got us out of relegation issues. He's done better than that. So, I mean, having said all that, my basic position is I don't mind if we keep him and I don't mind if he goes, providing we get somebody that I approve of.
I want to hear Ed's opinion on it.
He's not there.
He's broken.
He's run away.
I think I kind of agree with Ant, I have to say. But maybe slightly leaning towards...
Can we clarify what his contract status was? Was he only appointed?
Another year.
Right, okay.
Oh, well, by the way, I also understand that Chelsea are interested in a certain Marco Silva, but I don't know if that's true either.
No, we're a bigger club, though.
Oh, yeah. I know we are.
Here's the thing. If Pereira stays, I'm fine with it. If he goes, it needs to be for an upgrade. I think that's my stance.
I think that sounds quite similar to my position.
I'm not Pereira out. Like Daisha was Daisha out, Cooper was Cooper out. Nuno wasn't Nuno out until obviously all the shenanigans happened. Pereira,
I've not said Pereira out, by the way. I just said I'm not convinced. My point is for waiting till the summer is I'm not convinced he's going to be the best.
He's not got the long.
I'm not saying. Yeah, well, it's not just that. I'm not convinced he's the best manager available come the summer because there's half the managers in the Premier League. Half the managers in the Premier League will be out of contract. So there's plenty of managers available. I'm not convinced he's the best man to take us forward. That's my point. That's why I'd wait till the summer.
But here's the thing. Like, let's just say, I think Ben and Rob, you were saying firmly Pereira in, yeah? Let me ask you this, both of you. If Iriola comes out tomorrow and says, I want the Forest job, would you take him over Pereira?
Well, does a manager ever say that?
Of course.
Hypothetically, all we ever deal with in this world is hypotheticals.
Yeah, but he's not. That's like saying if Pep, when Pep leaves City, is he going to come to Forest? It's not going to happen. Of course.
No. Because why is my stance any different? Because if Marco Silva was going to replace him, I'd take Silva, for example, right? Doesn't mean I don't want to get it.
I've listened to this for a long time. What is it about Silva that gets your pants growing? What is it?
Well, there's many. I'm glad you've asked.
I've never heard Marco Silva.
I'm glad you asked me that.
I'm glad you asked me that. Firstly, he's got a relationship with Marinakis. Secondly, he won trophies. Thirdly, he has.
No, we won the Olympiacos. He won the championship, didn't he?
Big trophies, exactly. Thirdly, he's never been given an owner that gives him a big budget to work with. And look what he does with shite. Just even look when we came up with Fulham were the best team in that division when we came up by a country mile, even though we beat them at their place.
They played some good football. They did play some good football.
And fourthly, and most importantly, I think his style of play suits us perfectly. I don't think it's too defensive. I don't think it's too attacking. I think there's a balance in the middle.
They can play some good football. They can.
And I actually do think they are. Pereira hasn't done all that. And fifthly, and most importantly, he's been at Fulham for ages. I want Nicky, at least spell his name right, Nicky. Seriously. I'm just saying I would take Silva, but I'm not saying Pereira out. I'm just saying,
I get you.
Would you take Iriola over him?
The difference is
it's not then, because I've seen you get quite excited when his face comes up. It's not just that then.
It's Silva.
Yeah.
Or just
good looking bloke, mate. No need to be ashamed. We're all friends here.
Hey, he's got that Portuguese thing going around the
Why do
Mediterranean.
people miss your point? Stop, Tyrone. What did I? Why am I away with the fairies? What have I said? I said I'd wait till the summer to see if there's a better manager.
Ez, I'm gonna have to put a stop to this. I'm going to put a stop.
Guys, listen. I know you don't like. I don't give a damn if you don't like me. I really don't give a shit. But you should actually listen to what I've said before you respond.
The people need to know. I've spoken to Ez a lot about this, and his position is absolutely 100% fair. He wants to see what happens at the end of the season, see what's available, and make an assessment from that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no agenda. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's just an option.
We're all saying a similar thing in a roundabout way.
The same 70% in the vote that want to keep Vítor, the same 70% who wanted to keep Sean Dyche. So your opinions, chill with your opinions.
Don't say invalid.
No, but what I would say.
I want to answer Wolfie's question.
Go on, answer my question.
I think that the difference between it is that I completely get your point. If a world-class manager was available and we could actually get them, then yes, you could argue that maybe you take a risk and you get them in. The difference is you lot are openly saying, well, if this guy's available, I want him. If this guy's available, I want him. Whereas I'm happy with what we've got. I'm not thinking about.
You were happy with Sean Dyche. You were happy with Sean Dyche.
Yeah,
End of story.
Sean Dyche, statistically, one of the greatest first managers ever. Look, I'm not openly thinking, what happens if Iriola leaves Bournemouth? What happens if Pep leaves City? We'll get them in. I think Pereira has done enough in these last 10 games to show us that realistically and the probability that another manager won't come in, I think realistically he's okay to take us into next season.
But you didn't answer my question.
We don't know what's going to happen, of course.
Wait. You said you were going to answer my question. You didn't answer it.
I answered it.
No, you didn't. If Iriola said, hi, Ben, I want to join Forest, but it's up to you.
Okay, I'll say what you lot say. I'll wait for the last day of the season and see who wins the match. If Pereira wins, then no.
That's not what I'm waiting to see again. Straw man. That's not what I'm waiting to do.
What if it's a draw?
I'd take Iriola.
So you would get. So basically, Pereira has one shot, win or bust. Is what you're saying.
Your last chance saloon for
Pereira. You're asking questions which are like not going to happen, basically. So
don't be a pussy, Ben, and back down. You want Pereira to stay, that's fine. Don't back down and be such a pussy. If we play them and like, no.
If Iriola said, look, I'm coming to Forest next season, okay, I'd take Iriola over Pereira, yeah, sure.
So you got to the point.
Sack Pereira tomorrow. You'd sack him without no further ado.
Look, you've got to be. You got to be cutthroat.
Look, at least Mayonnaise and Rob are giving him to the end of the season. You're going to sack him tomorrow.
You've got to be cutthroat.
Agenda.
Pereira's going to stay. Let's be honest.
But look, the whole point of my question is because all I ever hear is, "Oh, you want to sack him for Marco Silva." I'm not saying that.
That's what some of the.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying that's what I get told. I'm saying.
Yeah, but not from me. I know you don't want to sack him. I understand if someone better comes along. I completely get your point. I just think from where we are right now today, with no other links, Pereira's the right guy.
It should always be the case, by the way. It should always be the case. If there's a manager, a football player, a financial director, an owner, if they're better than the one you've got at the moment, you should get them.
Sure. Yeah, you need to have ambition.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know how much I adore Mr. Marinakis. I absolutely effing worship the guy, right? But if some bloody Arab came in tomorrow with 40 billion quid, I'd say, sorry, Evangelos, my friend.
You could say it in any situation. You could say if they said, we'll just direct swap Musiala for Morgan Gibbs White tomorrow, would you take Musiala? Of course you would, but it doesn't mean you won't.
Yeah, that's my point. It's the same with the manager, isn't it? Yes, we're happy with Pereira, but if a better one comes along, then we would move him on.
But it has to be realistic because Pereira's not going to come to Forest.
You want to read that?
The difference is you don't necessarily know that manager's going to be. Say, take Iriola for example. He could come to Forest. It's conceivable. He could have a right.
Well, I think the difference is that Wolfie wants Marco Silva to come, whereas I want.
He desperately he thirsts for him to use a modern vernacular.
But do you know if Silva came? Do you know how much pressure I would be under for him to do that?
You'd be on more pressure than Marco Silva's on.
Hey, honestly, man, anytime he'd lose the game, there'd be like Wolfie outcries, man. Like seriously.
Yeah. But are you going to apologize? Are you going to apologize?
Exactly. I want to hear what Rob's got to say on this matter. Just Friday, let me catch up with the super chats. Matt with the 4.99. He goes, Pereira had the same impact at Wolves than a shite pre-season, got involved with transfers and had the worst start to a season possible. Get Silva. Matt, they're going to accuse me of a Smurf account in a minute.
Yeah, give Matt a load of abuse now for what he's just said, because it's literally what we've been saying. Go on.
Big up Floyd with the 37 months, Floyd, over
Wow.
3 years. You absolute legend. Thank you so much. And big up to Emily with another super chat. She says with the 4.99, look at Bournemouth. Let O'Neill go when he kept them up and got Iriola in. Sometimes you have to make a change to progress. Do you know what, Emily? Like, we should have just had you on the panel instead of these clowns. Because how have none of you made that point? Do you remember the abuse?
But Pereira hasn't had chance to progress because he's only.
Do you remember the abuse Bournemouth got for backing Gary O'Neill?
I'm desperately trying to think, but that's definitely happened on more than one occasion. Nigel Pearson, look what he did. Miracle keeping Leicester. Hang on. Stop interrupting. A miracle.
Stop interrupting me.
I have not interrupted.
Go on.
This was meant
An
to be
absolute miracle keeping Leicester up. Nobody could believe that he kept them up. Sacked him. Brought in an absolute clown and won the league. Explain, Ebu.
Anyway, Emily,
we had this kind of discussion. If it's funny, I can remember at the end of the season 2 years ago, we were having this same discussion about Nuno, which is like, okay, what do we do now? Do we roll the dice or do we? Sorry,
you've been on here 2 years.
Longer. After that season, we had a thanks, Anne. I'll take that kindly. At the end of that season, we had exactly the same discussion about Nuno, and we had our doubts about whether he was, he'd kept us up, but we had our doubts about whether he would be the right man going forward. And then we went on to have a very good season, finished 7th. Now, if I look at what did for the last 3 managers, none of these things apply to Pereira, okay? Relationship with the owner, that was the end of Nuno. Shit results, that was the end of Postecoglou, doesn't apply to Pereira. Relationship with the players, that's what got rid of Dyche, okay? So I think that on all those 3 measures, there's no reason to get rid of him. My main reason for wanting to hold on to Dyche is I just felt like, why gamble? And it makes us a laughing stock. I think it would make us a laughing stock if we sacked him after the run that we've just had in the league. 1-4 drawn.
I don't think anybody's suggesting we sack him, are they, Rob?
No, that's not.
Well, if you replace him, you are sacking him. Unless he voluntarily.
So you personally, and I'm not trying to get at you at all, Rob. So if there must be a manager in the Premier League you consider a better manager than Pereira, I assume.
Yeah,
or is he the best manager in the league?
Who is this manager that wants to come to?
No, Rob, don't do this, Rob. It's only a bit of play. We're only having fun. It's not life or death. You don't have to get a contract out and bloody dot the I's. So if there's a manager in the league that you consider better than Pereira, you would keep Pereira nevertheless. If that manager
who
wants
is this
to
manager and is he interested in the job?
Well, I don't know, Rob, because you've not told me who you consider a better manager than Pereira.
It's a circular reference, Anne. It's a circular reference. I think the people.
Okay, give him Iriola, because Iriola. Would you agree Forest is a bigger club than Palace?
Yes.
Okay, there are links between Palace and Iriola. Therefore, Forest could get Iriola. Would you agree?
We approached him?
I'm just giving.
By the way, Iriola.
Do you think Iriola is better than
You've
Pereira?
just asked me a question. You've just
gone
right. So Iriola, when he took over from O'Neill at Bournemouth, his first 10 games were absolute crap.
Correct.
He got off to a terrible start. Now,
and me and Simon were saying higher.
You tend to start the next season like you finished the last one. Okay, so we were rubbish at the end of last year, and we started off the same under Nuno. Okay,
we actually won 3-1 against Brentford.
Yeah, all right, but it was
and
quite.
We drew away at Palace.
Look, no, come on, we got off to a crap start this season. The preseason was rubbish. I went to most of the preseason games. We couldn't even score. Right, the signs were there. Okay, so what I'm saying is, by keeping Pereira, you have a very good chance that you start next season like you finished this one.
Okay, but look, this conversation isn't Pereira out or Pereira in. This is more.
It is actually. That's what we're discussing.
It's not.
That's not what it was meant to be. But that's what it's turned into.
It's not. What this conversation really is what do we need to do in the summer? So do we need, with these managers available, Glasner, Iriola, Silva, a couple of others, can't remember offhand, being available, I don't think those positions get filled up in the Premier League, for an example, right? I think there will still be 2 of those decent managers who are still knocking around, who don't have a club in the Premier League. Yeah, they could go abroad, but Premier League is where most of them want to be. And added on to that, which is the next topic of conversation, is the players. Like, what is... But I think all these questions have to be determined by a higher question, which is, what is the expectations for next season? That's the question I'm not sure of the answer to.
Well, there's a good point about this, is because that comes down to which players we keep over the summer. Now, I think that if you've got players like Anderson, who are saying in public, he said, the manager is brilliant. Okay. So if you've got a manager that has great relations with the players and they are a functional family or a unit, or they cover each other's backs, that helps you to retain those players. If you go and yeet out Pereira first thing he gets to summer and put somebody else in, like Ange Postecoglou, then what that glue that was holding the squad together, that then creates a position where you're more likely to lose those top players. Okay, so I have a theory that the likes of Gibbs, White, and Anderson believe in Pereira and what he could achieve next season with some additional signings to the squad. Okay, and I think that you mess with that at your peril. If you go and like roll the dice on a manager again over the summer, you increase the risk that you lose your top players.
Rob, I don't think in this day and age players are staying for the manager. To be honest, they might play for them, but I don't.
It's a factor.
Yeah, but it's not going to be the biggest pull. If Man City say to one Gibbs White, we'll give you 400 grand a week, come play for us. He's not going to say, "Oh, sorry, I want to play with Pereira instead."
Hang on. Right, we've got an owner who will keep predators away from our top players. He's done that with Gibbs White, right? He's proven if I want somebody to stay,
it's still a business, Rob. They're going to want to make a profit.
Does next season depend on who we lose over the summer?
No, because we can replace them.
Depends on who we get in.
Right, we've seen. Right, okay, so if Gibbs White leaves, how are we going to do next season?
I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But you
don't know what formation we're going to be playing. You don't know what recruitment we're going to have. You don't know who else is going to history. That's one question. You can't just say if we're without MGW, how we're going to do. For 3/4 of this season, MGW's been a donkey.
Exactly. The first 6 months of this season, Rob, MGW was crap. Okay, now he's our best player again. Great, but he wasn't for most of the season.
The key factor for next season is who goes out over the summer and who comes in. Okay, and if we do badly, we could have a worse season.
Didn't go again, Rob. It's hard to live with you, mate. If we do badly, if we get the wrong person, why are you so negative on every single position?
Do you read the comments? And do you read the comments?
Who gives a fuck?
I don't pander to the comments. You give your own opinion, man.
You lot have to take stupid positions just so you can disagree with me.
Hold on.
So I'm wrong. So I'm wrong to say that you're being negative. Then am I?
No, there's nothing.
Every time you start with every sentence, you start with "What if that happens? What if that happens?"
Rob, there's
what if MG leaves and we buy a player that none of us have heard of, and he's absolutely the next Zidane?
What happens if we buy the next Anderson? What happens if we go and scout a load of decent players because we've made 130 million?
But hold on. Rob is right on this one, in my opinion, and I'll tell you why. Because the amount of times I've seen,
Well, you're wrong, aren't you? If you're automatically taking up a negative position,
I'm not taking up a negative position. I'm starting with the assumption that we lose at least 2 out of the 3 from Murillo.
Yeah, I am too.
I think most people would agree with that. Yeah. I am saying statistically, when you look at other clubs that have lost their big boys, their star boys, and what have you, and they've replaced them with 2 or 3 30 million pound players here and there, it has never really worked out. Where it's very rare where they've unraveled the next Zidane or the next Messi or whatever. So I don't think it's a crazy stance to say that if we lose Anderson, let's say we lose all 3. It's not a crazy position to say we are in a weaker position next season than we are this season.
Not.
Hold on.
But why we won't replace them?
I haven't said we won't replace them, but let me add this crucial point that we haven't brought up yet. We're also looking to replace them with no European football in our back pocket. So the attractiveness becomes less. At least last season, if we did lose Gibbs White,
I agree with all that. Of course, I agree with that.
So
Nobody
that
says it's
means
going to be
you're kind
easy.
of agreeing with Rob said. What Rob said.
No. He's automatically assuming we're going to lose these players and we're going to be terrible.
No, didn't say that.
Tell me, where did we get Nico Williams from? 17 million quid we got. He was a nobody, basically.
And he was rubbish in his first season, man.
Yeah. Well, let me continue. Murillo.
I knew who Anderson was.
Who heard of Murillo? Nobody. Dominguez. Who'd have heard of Dominguez? Nobody. Elliot Anderson. Who'd have heard of Elliot Anderson? Nobody. This team is full of people that we've done very good recruitment on. So why are you assuming that we won't be able to recruit well again?
That's not
especially
the point.
now your mate Eddie's gone.
No. That's not the point. The point is, a logical assumption is that if you lose your 3 best players, you are going to be in a weakened position. And
why not be excited and think we're going to have loads of money? We might get some decent players in.
Yeah, but you are talking.
Look, it's May the 11th today, I believe. May the 11th, and you and Rob are already talking about how shit we're going to be next season. I don't need that in my life.
All I said was that, factually speaking, objectively speaking, if you lose your 3 best players, your team will be weakened. Even if you recruit potential, it is still an unknown. You can't sit there and say can you sit there and say we'll be better?
No, but Wolfie, Murillo's been missing most of the season, either physically or mentally, right? And I'm not exaggerating there. Anderson, we know he's not been brilliant every game. He's a brilliant player, and I'd love him to stay, but I don't think he will, right? But he's not been. There has been lots of times when we sat on here saying how bad he's been, right? Morgan gets White for 3/4 of the season. We wanted him out on a free. So don't tell me now, all of a sudden, if we lose these players, we're going to be terrible. No, we'll replace them with good players.
You're listening to the bits you want to hear.
And if you've got something like Marco Silva, you've already told me how well they play at Fulham. They're not got our players.
Okay. So, but you're listening to the bits you want to hear. That's the thing here. Okay.
No, well, maybe.
I haven't said we're going to be terrible. I'm saying on the balance of probability, if you lose your best 3 players, it is more than likely you will be worse off next season than
I agree with that.
Okay, so what are you arguing?
Because I'm not giving up, because I'm not stating it like he does, as if it's a fact.
He didn't say that.
He does. Right. Do you want me to go it back? We are going to be worse next season. We're losing this player.
All right, Rob, clarify your point.
No idea what we're going to do next season.
Rob, clarify
no idea. Right. And not only that, I tell you what, the big 6 are finished, right? It's an equal league now. That's why the team that finishes in 15th is so close to the team that finishes in 8th. All right? So the whole league is flattening out. The whole league. So there's no reason why we cannot be part of that. And I will not succumb to yours, and particularly Mr. Bloody miserable guts over here. I will not succumb to your negativity. I'm a Forest fan. I've seen us be freaking thin. And we're going to be great again next season.
And we'll fight them on the beaches.
And we will. We'll fight them on the beaches.
Rob, clarify your point.
There, aren't they? Look at Bournemouth. They could be Champions League this season.
Yeah.
You said we can't emulate that? Come on.
Oh, did you just say emulate and Bournemouth in the same sentence, bro? All right, Rob, clarify your point.
Right.
Did I misinterpret your point?
What I said was the single biggest success factor in how we do next season is how we manage to hold on to our key players over this summer, because the vultures are circling.
But do you agree we lose them? Are you in agreement with what we said? 2 out of the 3
I didn't for one moment say that. I'm actually hopeful that we will keep all 3, because as I said before, Marinakis has shown before.
Now he's gone the opposite way.
Shut up! For fuck's sake, man! Just shut up!
Are you all right?
Now,
you're right, Rob. Robbie, you're right.
Oh,
let him finish, Anne. Let him finish. Go on, Rob.
Right.
Oh,
So
come on. You're just going to go at me like that for a bit of a giggle. Come on. Hey! I wish he'd have done that yesterday when we were at the match.
It's only taken until game week 36, so I'm surprised.
And he just rage quit.
It's just rage quit.
And the funny thing is, I was saying something funny to him. And
I just want to pull Wolfie off on it, because you started this section by saying, what should our ambitions be for next season? And then it went into all this negativity. Our ambitions should be what Ant just said there. We should be fighting for European places. We should be trying to get into the European places next season. That should be our ambition. So to get to that ambition, you need the right manager. You need the right set of players. I'm not convinced that Pereira being the manager will, as much as the guys say that they loved him, they said that about Sean Dyche, you know, they said they could breathe again when he came in. So let's not take too much notice of what the players say. It's what our ambitions are going forward. And our ambitions are to get into Europe next season. It has to be. It has to be. So we need the right manager who's going to also, if we are going to lose any of these players, be able to attract others. I'm not convinced that Pereira is going to be able to attract bigger name players. Obviously, we've got no European football to be able to add to the equation. But what we can do, hopefully, is be able to offer decent wages, be able to offer an ambitious team that are looking for, upwards and not a relegation battle like most people think we've been in this season. And to get that, like I said, it has to all fit into place, and that has to start with a manager, as far as I'm concerned. If you get the right manager in, then you can look at who you keep hold of and then who you manage to attract as well. But Rob is right in a way, because you flip-flop to that point. Marinakis is a man who can keep these top players, if anybody can. So I wouldn't put it past him managing to hold on to at least 2 of the 3. But I actually think we would be better off losing 2 of the 3 and using that money wisely, personally.
See, I'm worried about Murillo. I mean,
I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think we can keep him because his attitude is just not right.
Exactly, and that's why I think we'd miss him the least, to be honest. Cunha showed a few of his flaws yesterday.
Yeah, he's not really yet.
He's still new. You know, he's still fresh. That was his first season in the Premier League, and Murillo's first season in the Premier League was full of mistakes as well. You know, as good as he was in spells as well. So, but he's the one player I'm not too concerned about losing. Anderson, like I said, he'll be a player that if once we've not got him, we'll notice how much he's not there. And Morgan Gibbs-White, like I keep saying, I think makes it tick.
I don't know about you, Ed.
If we could hold on to them 2 and lose Murillo, I'd be fine with that.
I think the Murillo. This is my just my feeling, gut feeling. There's no logic behind it. I think that Murillo will go because he wants to go, and I said he wanted to go 2 years ago. So Murillo will go because he wants to go. I think that Elliot Anderson will go if it's Manchester City. I don't think he'd necessarily go to Man U, but I think Man City would be too big. But that could depend on whether Pep stays or not. If Pep goes, all bets are off.
Which is looking likely, to be fair.
Looking likely. I think my personal feeling is, and again, I could be way off here, but my personal feeling is that MGW is the one that's most likely to stay.
Do you reckon?
I think he really feels for this club. You know what I mean? I do. I think there's something in there.
I agree with that. But like I said on the last stream, I think his decision will be based on whether or not he goes to the World Cup in the summer. Because if being
but that doesn't make sense, mate, because he's playing next to a guy that is going. So
that's what I don't agree with the logic. And I don't agree with the logic, but I think in the position that he's fighting for, there's you've got players that aren't performing this season. Foden, Cole Palmer.
I agree.
I think he's the best out of that lot. So if he doesn't go, yeah. So if he doesn't go, then he's the only one that I'm fearful of would leave.
That injury's not done him any good, you know, because he won't be able. If he's not been able to play to the end of the season, people forget. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's right, Ed, but it's just the way it is. You know,
it could cost him. Yeah. But I think that's my only concern with Morgan Gibbs-White.
I hope he goes. He deserves it. I don't, you know, I've been his biggest critic probably this season, but I've always said that the reason I'm like that is because I know what a good player he can be, and I get frustrated when he's awful. Because his heart's always there, isn't it? You know what I mean? He always puts it out when he's out there.
So
and he deserves to go.
So obviously we can't attract players through having European football because we're not going to have that next season.
No.
So it has to be with the ambition of the club and the manager that's here that's going to attract any new players in, surely. And that, yeah. Which is what we've got.
Dean,
Anyway.
big up to you with the 42 months, bro. How many years is that? 3.5.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah. It's exactly 3.5. Yeah.
You legend. Big up to Bad Boy with the 200. Says
Hi,
real.
Yeah,
It's certainly not scripted.
One of yours, Crypto. One of yours.
Shout out to Rob. Rob, if you're out there, come back on, mate. At least say goodbye to people. Not goodbye. I don't mean it like that. I mean, see you next time, people.
Rob's never coming on the show.
Only a laugh, mate. You know it is. No need to get upset. I get it.
I think Ben's the only one who hasn't rage quit. I've done it.
Yeah, that's because he's too stupid.
Because he's insulting him.
The closest I ever got to rage quitting is when Lemmy told me as a fact of life not get injured. I didn't rage quit, but I walked my dog around the block.
What have you started, Bad Boy? Thank you for the super chat. And big up to the S-Man with the 199. He goes, dodged a bullet this season. Need better players. I just don't know where we're going to get these better players from. I really don't.
Again, though, have we not still got a decent squad?
I don't know.
But...
It depends what your ambition is.
Problem this season mostly down to losing the manager or having poor managers having to get rid of them.
Yeah, I agree.
So the squad's not that bad. Okay, we're going to lose some most likely, but we could bring people in that hopefully can fill those gaps. And sometimes, as I said before, sometimes you have to kind of slightly change your way that you play the game so to compensate for those players you've lost. That's what makes a good manager.
You look at the table.
What's the ambition for next season, realistically?
To try and get a
European. Challenge for Europe. It's got to be every year.
Like we've just said about Bournemouth. Bournemouth could be in a Champions League place, for Christ's sake, you know. And let's have a look at the table as it is now. So the teams are with Aston Villa and obviously Arsenal being the anomalies because they're higher up the table. But if you look at where Palace are, they've struggled to maintain a European campaign and the league. We've done the same, and it's not unusual. Villa in the first season struggled. Newcastle in the first season struggled. So you know, this is not an anomaly, to be honest. If we look back on it in hindsight, once the season's finished and see where we actually end up on points, because we could be, is it 49 we could get to? You know, you'd be happy with that number of points in the league. But if you have a look at those teams who are playing in Europe and have progressed to the semi-finals or the finals, their league form has struggled, has suffered as a result of it. So we definitely didn't have a strong enough squad to be able to fight on all fronts, and especially when, like Rob alluded to earlier, the 4 games in 10 days or 11 days that we've just had, that's where your squad gets tested, and unfortunately, it came up short. And this is why we ended up where we have done. But we have the ambition for next season, 100% for me as a Forest fan, like Ant, is a positive one. I want to get into Europe again next season. I want to be fighting for Europe. I said to Ant on the way to the game yesterday, the Forest team that I grew up watching were in those positions. If it hadn't been for the European ban because of the Liverpool fans, we would have been in Europe most of those seasons, you know, but we got to cup finals. I saw us win most of those cup finals domestically, you know. That was a team that I grew up following, and that's what I wanted to get back to, you know, and we're not far off. 3 semi-finals, yes, we've come up short. We've been a bridesmaid each time, but we've been one of the, you know, top 4 teams in that Europa competition. That's nothing to be ashamed of, you know, and we're going to finish comfortably in the Premier League.
In 4 years is crazy, Ed.
It's crazy. You know, we just got to get it over that. And that's a team newly promoted into the Premier League. We've seen how hard it is. Next season will be our 5th season in the Premier League. Apart from the most optimistic of us Forest fans, when we got promoted, did we think we'd survive 5 seasons in the Premier League? Not many of us did.
I did, but that's me.
I did, but me, you, and Wolfie.
We all did then.
Can we discuss a player quickly? Can we discuss a player quickly?
It's got to be quick because I'm due a cooking now.
One line very quickly to all those people out there that think that we're deluded and that we should be happy with 17th every year. Just look at Brentford, Fulham, Bournemouth, teams like that. Are you saying we shouldn't be able to compete with them?
Yeah.
Right, go on.
There's just one player I want to discuss because I think there's a lot of recency bias. And if we're talking about ambition, I don't think he fits our profile because I don't think he's consistent enough, and that's McAtee.
Well, we got the assist.
I don't know about McAtee, man.
He'll be a good player next year, Ben. Let him settle in. Let him get a pre-season. Let him settle into the team, and he'll be a good player. If he's not, then I'll
he needs to bulk up a bit. He needs to put some muscle on, mate. He needs to bulk up a bit. He
looks like he enjoys life better, man. He just looks miserable.
Even in that Europa League match when he got hooked at half time, he was not very good.
No,
it was rubbish.
But nobody was good in that game.
Anyway, I want to go and watch the Spurs game.
Yeah.
Well,
come on, Leeds.
I'm about to get cooked, apparently. Generational Cooking is the title on 12 Man. So I'm going to send you guys there. So, like, back me up in there. God knows. Apparently, they've all gunning for me tonight. I don't know what receipts they've got. But make sure you subscribe. Check out OK Jerseys. Use code FF.
How can you be cooked? Who's going to be on this? Chelsea can't cook you. Spurs can't cook you.
I don't know. Apparently, Billy's got some.
Palace can't cook you. Who can cook you?
We're about to find out. So this will send you across to there. If you want to back me up, feel free to do so. Chuck in FFTV raid in the chat. And we'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.
You Reds.